To persuade my audience that violent video games make people more violent. Violent video games are a form of expressing rage in people, and it increase violent thoughts, violent affect, and violence behavior, and it results in violent people. So my three main point for this research is what is a violent video game, and what thought may a violent video game provoke in people's mind, and why would people disagree with my argument, and what's their opinion on this subject. So what type of video games are most popular today? Action games are the most popular of them all. According to the article Top 10 Most Popular Gaming Genres in 2020, that takes me to my following argument for why I think playing violent video games encourage violence. So, I choose this topic because playing video games over time causes children's behavior to change negatively. Children learn to be more aggressive as a result of playing those games, and they suffer emotionally because they lose interest in engaging in other activities. So, what is a violent game? Some people can argue that playing video games are just for fun, while others may agree with me. In the Merriam website online dictionary, violence is described as the use of physical force to injure, abuse, damage, or destroy. And according to the article, Violent Video Games, what parents need to know. What parents need to know, a video game with those elements is one that is violent since it launched in the fall of 2017. The violent video game, fortunately, has used an alarming amount of popularity with over 40 million downloads. It is the most recent video games trend in a wave of first person shooter games that frequently feature firearms and violence without the use of blood and gore. It is an interactive multiplayer adventure. What thought may a video game provoke in people's mind or players' mind? There has been a lot of research done to try and determine whether playing violent video games leads to aggressive or violent behavior, but nothing has proven for sure whether it does or does not. But, however, if you ask any parent if their child has ever become upset, frustrated, or more likely to fight while playing a video game or after, the response is almost certainly yes. If parents let their kids play violent video games, I advise minimizing some of the effort by talking about the subject and putting it in perspective and fostering empathy in other ways. Setting time restriction is also a smart idea. So, according to the article, violent video games can increase aggressive behavior or aggression. Based on one study, aggressive young men may be particularly vulnerable to be aggravating effects of continuous exposure to violent video games. According to therapy, the other study shows that all sort of participants' aggressive behavior can temporarily rise after even a brief exposure to violent video games. So why would people disagree with my argument, and what their opinion on those violent video games? So people will simply claim that they can stop playing whenever they want, and it's just for fun. So according to the article, the video games your child plays has an effect on their behavior, published on April 6, 2016, says that while some games have addictional content, many of most popular games emphasize negative themes. I think there are many reasons why somebody may agree or disagree with me. Since about 40 million people have downloaded violent video games since 2017, many of them have played them for over 10 hours a day. Um, so, which led them to be addicted to playing those games. It would be different for them to cut back on how much time they spend playing them. Others may state that playing violent video games is just for fun and it doesn't have any kind of effect on them. While I genuinely believe that playing violent video games is addictive and causes people to be violent, because I've had a personal experience dealing with violent people who are addicted to playing violent games. I can confirm that dealing with them and trying to convince them of something is quite impossible and challenging. I also found out that the amount of time spent playing video games is in the past was associated with lower academic grades in high school or in college or even in middle school. The primary so my primary goal in this study is to provide parents with guidance and education on violent video games, potential triggers for violence behavior in children, and academic failure. I think it's bad to have too much of something. Therefore, reducing the amount of time that is spent playing for children and adults and authorizing that time in some other ways will improve your physical and mental health. If you make the decision to use your time well, your life will alter in a very noticeable way. And that was my conclusion for this research. And I would love to hear other people's opinion on this subject as well. Thank you so much for listening to my presentation.